Sam. I'm at the Ballard Health Club today to go over some of the fundamentals of using the rowing machine. We had a workshop last weekend and there was a lot of interest in learning the technique, so we thought we would release this video so more people could see sort of how to use the machine and make sure that you're not hurting yourself while on the machine. So a little bit about me. I spent many years rowing in high school and in college. Rowed at Dartmouth College and at Phillips Academy and over before that. So I have some experience rowing. I actually grew up with rowing, grew up with the sport in Seattle. My mom founded Martha's Moms, which is one of the biggest masters rowing rowing clubs in the city. So yeah, the sport's been in my blood all my life. And yeah, let's get started. The right place the right adjustment for the foot stretchers is having the strap just behind the ball of your foot. You don't want to be able to have your foot come up too much. What you definitely don't want is to be able to do this and lift your heel way too far up off of the foot stretcher. You want to have the right just enough so that you can be flexible coming into the catch without bringing your heels too far off of the foot stretchers, because you're going to want your heels pressing down when you have power on your drive. So that's the first thing. The other thing to do when you get on the erg is to set the resistance. And you set the resistance by moving the fan cover. It's affecting how much air is coming through the fan blades in the erg. And a normal resistance is somewhere around the 6 to 8 range. That's kind of standard for most workouts. Any more than that and you're doing a high resistance workout. Anything less than that and it's more a workout for either technique or really fast cardio and not necessarily really pulling hard. So 6 to 8, usually good. I tend to put it towards the higher end of 7 myself. So let's get started on technique. So when we start our stroke, we're going to start at the catch, at the forward end of the stroke. And what you want to make sure of here is that when you're at the stroke, you've got your shins about 90 degrees to the ground. People have different flexibilities, so what you're able to do is going to be up to you. But ideally, you get your shins 90 degrees to the ground, and you've got your hands up and at the catch, parallel to the floor and ready to pull. You don't want to be going in too far, because if you push in to try to get that little extra distance at the catch, that's actually called lunging. You are lunging at the catch, and you are pulling your heels up farther from the foot stretchers, and you're not going to get as much power when you come back on the drive. So you're at the catch, you've got your feet, your shins 90 degrees to the ground, and then when you start your drive, you just go with your legs. Keep your back and your arms straight out. You keep your back straight, as high and straight as you can, and just push with your legs to start. That's where most of your power is going to come from. Rowing is 70 to 80%, even more than 85%, just in the legs. You see a lot of rowers, you're going to see huge leg muscles. So you start with the drive, start with the legs, and then once you've reached kind of the point when you can't push anymore, you kind of hit. Your legs are extended as far as they can. Then you swing your back. And then you're not pulling your arms in yet. You're just pivoting from the hips and pulling your back to the lay back position. Once you're there, you should be getting enough power off of just the legs and back that the arms are almost an afterthought. You kind of pull in with the arms, but you're not feeling a lot of power on the arms coming in. It's the momentum on the stroke is enough that you're just kind of pulling them into your chest. Now, where you want to pull them into your chest, again, is a matter of what you feel comfortable with. Rowing styles are such that you'll see a lot of people doing very different things at the end of their stroke. In the layback position, you'll see some teams coming in low like this. You'll see some teams, a lot of European teams, come way back like this and pull it all the way up to their neck. But really, it's what you're comfortable with. So on the slide, we've come out, again, legs first, then swinging with the back, and kind of letting the arms float into your chest. Now coming back down the slide, it's the reverse. You first let your arms extend, and when your arms are out, you let them pull your back in. Again, just pivoting from the hips, keeping your back as straight as possible. So then when your back is in, then you come up the slide, again, floating up the slide. You're not charging up the slide like this, because that means you're going to get too much distance at the catch. You're going to be lunging. And if you're in a boat, what that means is that you're checking the boat down with each stroke and not letting it just keep that momentum. So you're at the layback again, out with the arms, back forward, float up the slide. So then, we're going to put it all together. So when you're at the catch, legs, back, arms, arms, back, legs. Legs, back, arms, arms, back, legs. And this is the stroke. You want to keep that in mind. You want to just keep the legs, back, arms, letting each part of your body move individually. You're not combining the two different motions. You're not, going forward as you're extending your arms. You're not. One of the most common mistakes that people make that I see is they first let their legs, their knees break and their legs come up before they've gone out with their arms and gone forward with their back. So what that means is if you're doing that, you then have to lift your arms over your knees. And this is the most common mistake I see people making on the erg, is they have to lift their arms over their knees. And again, if you think about what that means when you're in the boat, if you're coming forward, your oar is up and out of the water. And if you have to lift your arms over your knees, that oar blade is slamming back down into the water in the recovery when everyone's trying to just let the boat glide. So you're gonna get a digger in the water and slow down the whole boat if you're doing that. So that's not what you want. The other thing that I see a lot of people make the mistake of doing is letting their butt slide forward underneath their back. So again, you want to keep your back straight, and some people do this at the catch. They kind of put their butt towards their knees and then kind of use that to push. But then again, when you slide your butt in towards your knees, your back's now already in the layback position. And when you're pushing like that, it's putting more pressure on your lower back, and it could cause some difficulty down the line. One of the most common injuries in rowers is lower back injury. I had to deal with it myself for a little while in college. And so you want to make sure that you're doing this right so you're not hurting your back down the line. That's the technique. We'll do it one more time just to get it all in your head. And so again, starting at the catch, you want to do legs, back, arms, coming out, and then going back down the slide on the recovery, arms, back, legs. And again, you're just rotating from your hips, letting your arms float out, pull your back forward, and making sure that your hands are past your knees, and you're in the forward bend with your back before you come up the slide. A few more strokes here. There you have it. All right, one final thing, just to let you know some good workouts to do as you're kind of learning the stroke. So the Concept 2 erg has in its onboard computer a bunch of different workouts for you to do. They've got a standard list and a custom list. If from the main menu you just decide you select workout. And under standard list, they have a bunch of the standard workouts for rowers. You'll see at the top, you'll see the dreaded 2K. That's kind of like the go-to strength test for rowing teams around the world, is how fast can you row 2,000 meters. 2Ks are painful, so maybe not something you want to do right away. The best thing to do right away, just to kind of get the motion in your muscle memory, get the technique in your muscle memory, is to do the 30-minute steady state piece. It's boring, but it's the best way to get those motions in your memory before you really start to go at it hard. Because when you're working at it hard, when you're doing interval pieces like the next one down, which I also recommend, 500 meters on 1 minute rest, repeated probably 10 times, but really as many as you are comfortable with to start. Before you go into those pieces, it's good to get that technique down, because when you're working hard, it's really easy to fall off of that technique and to try and take shortcuts. But you have to remember, they're not trying to make it harder for rowers to move the boat. This technique is to try and make it as easy as possible for rowers to move the boat as efficiently as possible. So if you fall off of this technique, you're just going to make it harder for yourself. So you don't want to be at the point where you're kind of forgetting the technique while you're working out. You want it embedded in your muscle memory before you really start to go hard. So yeah, 30 minutes just to start, a good way to get it kind of in your head before doing some more intense workouts. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any more questions, feel free to either contact me through the front desk or ask one of the trainers at the health club. Thanks very much.